But there was one radical suggestion. Watch.
I have the only plan that limits the ability of insurance companies to charge unreasonable prices, flat out, number one. Number two, we should put some of these insurance executives who totally oppose my plan in jail for the 9 billion opioids they sell out there.
Frank, what about that?
So well, first off, did you hear the audience reaction to it? And I was there in the hall for both debates. And I want to make it clear to the viewers that this is not a fight for the soul of the Democratic Party. That fight is over. And the hostility of these Democratic candidates, most of them, to corporate America, to CEOs, to those who've been successful, is significant. The language that I heard in the last 48 hours is language I've never heard from any mainstream Democrat. And every time you went anti-corporate, anti-CEO, anti-success, the audience just lit up with applause.
Now, I want to move on to night one and something said by Bernie Sanders and Warren that struck you. Let's watch.
Our biggest problem in Washington is corruption. It is giant corporations that have taken our government and that are holding it by the throat. And we need to have the courage to fight back against that.
If anybody here thinks that corporate America gives one damn about the average American worker, you're mistaken. Stand up and take on the greed and corruption of the ruling class of this country.
Frank, isn't that what Obama said he was going to do? I mean, standing up for the little guy. So can they replicate what Trump has already done?
This is so much more extreme. Holding the government by the throat, it's graphic, it's visual. And I say to every CEO who's watching right now and every corporate executive, they're after you. They're blaming you. They're holding you accountable. I attended the SEIU rally because I wanted to see what language they used. And what they kept on saying was, no peace, no justice. No peace, no justice.
That's original.
We're going to have labor unrest over the next year. We're going to have a continuing divide between corporate America and its people. This is significant. The tension in the workforce is going to be far greater. There's a lesson here that economic freedom is under direct attack.
Yeah.
And Laura, I don't mean to overstate it, but it is significant.
No, I could not agree more. And finally, that embattled NYC Mayor Bill de Blasio, Frank, he was ranting a lot last night, but this moment really stood out to you. Watch.
For 40 years, the rich have gotten richer, and they paid less and less in taxes. It cannot go on this way. When I'm president, we will even up the score, and we will tax the hell out of the wealthy to make this a fairer country. This has to be the party that's not afraid to say out loud, we're going to tax the hell out of the wealthy.
He said it twice just so you would understand. Why was that moment so
He
important?
said because he said at the beginning, he said at the end, and the audience erupted in applause. That was his best moment among Democrats. That was his best moment of the debate. Laura, this is not just about politics. This is not just about winning the Democratic nomination. This is about changing the structure of the economy in the United States, and they are determined to turn it upside down. And I got to tell you, I've been following this since 1992. I've never heard candidates this extreme. I've never heard candidates this hostile to economic freedom, and they've got the base of the Democratic Party absolutely behind them.
Yeah, I say freedom, period.
Absolutely.
They're anti-freedom on what kind of car you drive or whether you can fly somewhere. As long as they're able to fly to their stupid conferences, that's okay. But the rest of the little people, they're just going to have to go and, those little